listen to some music. And then the next one was, again, something that
he doesn't realize it because Captain America's Hydra, you know? It's, so he just messes with them, like, every issue. Everything, half the bad stuff that's going on with him is because of Captain America.
Okay, that's fair.
But I read it, but then the rest of the just political bullshit that the statements that he's in this, all right, Nick Spencer, stop writing. We don't want to listen to your crap anymore, you know? It's, but when you read the Hail Hydra book, it's not there, you know? It's.
Once upon a time, Stan Lee actually broke the Comics Code Authority to talk about something he thought was important. And he used Harry Osborn on LSD and had a kid stagger off the side of the roof and kill himself by accident. And had to take the Comics Code Authority seal off for that one issue.
Yep. That again, it shows you how ridiculous the Comics Code Authority was back then. I'm glad it's gone now, you know? I mean, I get it. They wanted to keep stuff to a point where they wanted to make it so all ages could read all these books, but you're pretty much doing a public service announcement in a comic book.
Yeah.
But because it's something that you shouldn't write, the Comic Code Authority wants to negate it. So no, you can't put this in the book. It makes no sense.
And first, I don't believe in censorship. And second off, I'm sorry, but I disagree with the Senate. Because when the Senate was dealing with that in the first place, the guy that I can't remember his name right now, the guy that actually created Mad Magazine and all of the schlocky stuff that was going on, actually said maybe these things should be taken care of by the parents censoring what their kids read.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the senators said, so you're saying that parents should be responsible for their children read? Don't you think that's putting a lot of responsibility on the parent? No, you moron, I don't.
You're supposed to watch and pay attention to what your child's doing. The government shouldn't have to tell you.
Bingo.
But again, it's got so bad to the point now where besides the government doing it, they want whoever packages stuff, whatever, to say, oh, well, you can't do this either. So the parent doesn't have to worry about that sort of thing either, you know?
When I was working in a video store, I had a woman come up to me with a copy of Bordello of Blood and say, is this okay for my 10-year-old?
What do you think?
Bordello of Blood, nothing. Bordello of Blood, nothing. Whorehouse of Death, still nothing. No, it's not okay for your kid.
Yeah. You feel that your kid is mature enough and old enough to watch an R-rated film, then you say yes. And if you don't want them watching some of the garbage that could be out there, you're like, no.
And I also used to point out to people at the game store that it was the same location, Media Play. I would point out to them, you know, I realized that your kid wants Grand Theft Auto 3, but in this particular video game, he can basically rent a whore and then beat her.
Right.
Maybe you don't want to go there. Maybe you should leave that out. Maybe you should have him go pick up one of those games that's rated, I don't know, teen.
I love Grand Theft Auto. One of my favorite games to play.
But I wouldn't let a 10-year-old play.
Right. But the only purpose of that game is to shoot, murder, kill, rape, or whatever in that whole movie. I mean, in that whole game, you know, it's...
One of my friends was one of the guys that designed the original Grand Theft Auto. And he was at a convention saying to people, I made this game so that people who had a really bad day at work can take out some steam.
Yeah.
Not your average elementary kid. Adults who had a bad day at work can take it out on the video game. Don't let your kid play this.
And then if your kid goes out and does something stupid and decides to shoot something up, you can't blame it on the video game.
No, exactly.
Right. You know, oh, it's a video game. So, no, first of all, there's something wrong with your child. Because a kid shouldn't even think about doing stuff like this. And there's something wrong with you for letting your child actually play this video game. So it's, I mean, it's your own, it's not your fault, but there was already something wrong with your child. How many times did you see Bugs Bunny get shot in the face, or Daffy Duck and his beak is back in the back, right? We still didn't go around grabbing guns and starting shooting people in the face, you know? It's
if at any point, let's look at Columbine as a great example. If at any point I had spent a day in the garage building anything, I guarantee you, before it was done, my mother would have known what I was doing.
Right.
Okay? If I'd been building a bomb, it would have gone very badly for me. Seriously.
You can sneak certain things by your parents. I mean, that's what kids do. But you know something? Your parents, I think, still know it. It's just so minor they let it go. Let you think, hey, he's got something.
This is a tiny sin. We can ignore this.
Right. Yeah. He's got something. I mean, it's a part of growing up, part of doing your thing. Yeah. If I was building a bomb in my house, they would know something about it. You know, because my parents parented too.
Epic.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I was spanked as a child.
Sure.
And I'm glad I was, you know, because guess what?
I mean, that's it. I was spanked. I wasn't beaten black and blue.
Right.
I learned my lesson. Right. Don't do that. It ticks off Mom.
Right.
We'll just stop now.
Right. And then after you got spanked, it says, that kind of hurt too.
Yeah.
I don't need that hassle again in my life. What do? You learn like a dog, like a small child. You know, you punish for something, you remember. You go, you know, it's
Yeah, I don't remember the name of it.
How much was literally just on the wall last week? They got demoted to the bin. It was right up here.
Back the old Halloween.
It used to be right there, actually. Not crazy, right, Phil? It used to be up on the wall. It used to be right here, Mark. Here, I'm gonna make the noise so you can leave it.
That wouldn't be going in chronological order, because if you think of it, it would have been closer down this way, because the newer issues are down there.
Correct.
This is some of the best entertainment that you're getting in comics.
You got almost a nice chunk of the sound band.
Yeah. You know, it's
either I do it now or I do it later. I do it in trade form.
Right.
You know, it's one way or the other. I'm going to read it.
and then you hope these well good.
Best stories in the history of the medium.
Yeah.
Neil Gaiman.
75 issues of pure comic.
He worked for hire, so he doesn't get.
Borderline literature, I would say.
Neil Gaiman. Literature.
I know this guy doesn't like that. Fuck Glenn.
Glenn doesn't like a lot of things.
No, he doesn't like a lot of things.
For a guy who
loves Howard the
owns...
Duck. He loves Duke. Howard the Duck. Anthropomorphic animal, human things. That's what he likes.
Do you think Glenn hates more than he loves? I think. Is that a fair assessment?
He's a hater.
He's a hater.
Yeah, he's a hater. Dude, he's
What did comics ever do for him,
He's
anyways?
the comic book store guy from The Simpsons, dude. Look at him.
What did comics ever do for him?
Keeps him in business.
Is that what it is?
He's really
That's what he does? He
Dude,
makes-
he's
he
really
makes money?
independently wealthy. He really does this. Shit's against.
Oh, yeah.
I've loved artwork ever since I was a little kid, and I've gotten more interested over the years into artwork, and we go to comic book conventions, and now I'm more into the artwork than I am the comics, because I have comics that I love, and like I said, I won't get rid of, but now there's certain artists that have come up from the old days, that the artwork and it's the ink and the paint. If you look at any old comic book from the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the artwork and the printing is totally different than nowadays. So I think the colors and everything that come out are absolutely gorgeous. And plus I think the technology is different, because in the old days one person would pencil the artwork and then somebody else would color it.
I add depth and shading to give the image more definition. Only then does the drawing truly take shape.
Nowadays, one person does their character their way, which is really personalized, which I like.
Oh, I missed 2 weeks, so I'm all piled in with all kinds of stuff, man. You know? But it's been light lately, anyway. You know, just not a lot of stuff I'm really that into. Everyone's loving the DC Universe Rebirth stuff, and I like a lot of it. But it's still, you know, I try to tell people, I'm like, it's the same things over and over again. It's the same characters doing the same things. Once they start pulling in the Watchmen stuff, the Dr. Manhattan, things like that, once they start doing that, then I'll start getting excited. That'll be pretty cool. I've been hearing a lot of people not loving it so much. I think that's just because out of everything they put out so far, it's probably my least favorite. But it's still, if this was the first thing that they put out from Marvel on Netflix, it would probably be one of my favorite things that's on Netflix. I like it a lot. I think they've done a great job building that character up and getting it right where it needs to be, and building up to the Defenders and whatever else they're planning on doing. So they came out with that second season of Daredevil, and the first season of Daredevil, when that first came out, was just like, oh my god, blew you away. And I loved Luke Cage. Like, I finished Luke Cage and I was like, that might be my favorite one they've done. Like, I just thought the whole feel of it was different. And they did such a good job building that character up, and having him start in Jessica Jones and then moving him into his own series was just a genius way to do it. I think that the way they did Kingpin was probably the best character and the best representation of a character from the book to a show. The way he played it was just on mark, and it was perfect in every way. But I think that Kilgrave is the scariest villain that they've ever done in all the Marvel Universe, the movies, the rest of the shows and stuff like that. I think that's the scariest villain. And going back and rewatching Jessica Jones and seeing the way he can so easily just manipulate people and get people to do what they want to do, and he's so maniacal in how he does it. It's just, it still creeps me out when I rewatch it. I'm just like, this is the scariest villain they've had in the Marvel Universe so far. Like, he's just a monster. I don't need this anymore. If I get bored at any point when I'm reading, I'm just like, I don't need this. I got 20 other books I'm getting.
You're not as bad as my brother, though.
Oh my God.
My brother gets one bad word bubble. He goes, I don't need to read this book. And he puts it down. Yeah.
Looks it up. Doesn't like one picture on it. He's just like,
yeah, I'm good.
it's toilet paper.
Yeah, with my brother, he's the worst when it comes to that.
Yeah.
You don't want to be a writer or an artist or anything to have to deal with my brother because
Not at all.
because if he reads a page and he reads a page, he goes, words. Oh, this is interesting. No, more. No, I'm done.
done.
Yeah, but
You
he's
lost
done.
me.
Yeah.
I don't even want to get into it.
Yeah.
And especially if it's Marvel or DC.
Yeah.
He's just instantly like, nope, I'm good. I don't need it. Yeah, I know he's funny, but I know that if he does recommend something, every time he's recommended something, I've really liked it.
Yeah.
Like if it's a good recommendation from him, I know it's something I'm gonna like.
Yeah.
So, which is always.
But you don't get many of those. Right.
You don't. But he turned me on to a few things that I still read now. So it was, you know, old trades stuff that came out in the past that I never even went, like Rising Stars, stuff like that. Like he was like, you gotta read this, it's really good.
Well, it's funny because so many people love it. I didn't like Rising Stars.
No?
I read probably the first 8 issues, so probably like the first trade's worth.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't get this. I mean, I got the book, but I don't get why everyone likes this book so much. You
I
know?
liked it more in the beginning than I did at the end. When I got done with it, I was just like, all right, they didn't wrap this up well at all. You know,
well,
it's one of those-
Straczynski was being a dink at the end by that time.
Yeah.
I think he held them hostage for the last 2 or 3 issues.
Oh, really?
It took years for like the last couple issues to come out. There was supposed to be like a Rising Star movie. They were writing it or whatever, but he was pissed because he wasn't able to write it. So I mean, I don't know 100% sure. This is just stuff I read.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you can't. I mean, even though 90% of the people in the world believe everything on the internet is true, I'm one of those ones that don't. So I don't know if this was totally true.
Yeah. Probably about half. You know, somewhere in the middle, you find that happy medium.
So, but the rumor was that he wasn't hired to write the movie.
Yeah.
And he was pissed. He goes, I want to write this movie. He says, well, hey, it's ours. No, we're not. We know it's your thing, but we have the rights to do this. We don't have to hire you to write this. Right.
Yeah.
So he goes, well, then guess what? Then I'm not going to give you the last couple issues to finish the story. If you notice, this hasn't been a Rising Star movie. It has there.
No, it has not.
A year later, here comes the Rising Star. Here comes the. Oh, they did a TV show. It's called It wasn't Rising Stars, but the TV show reminded me of Rising Stars. CW did it a while back. Where people got their powers when on a certain day they all got their powers.
I feel like I remember something like that too.
It went like 2 or 3 seasons or whatever, and I watched like 3 episodes. I went, hey, this kind of reminds me of Rising Stars,
but it's not. So I don't care.
Right, and I don't care. That's what I did because even though I didn't like the comic, I would have still watched it as a TV show or a movie. You know, just because it's related.
It's gonna be different. It's gonna be different content and done a different way. It might be better.
Yeah, but I can't think of the thing. I think it was 2 or 3 seasons, but yeah, it was. And I don't think it was the 100. Is the 100 on right now? Is there something called the 100 on?
Got Chew.
Yep.
Your thoughts?
Very good book.
Fun. The first volume, very fun.
Yeah, well, the second volume's good. The second volume is just as good as the first.
Good.
You're gonna enjoy it. You're gonna have a lot of fun with the book. Maybe even some laughter. You know what's the best part about this book?
I laughed out loud a few times.
Oh yeah. But it takes me forever to read this book because you have to read all the signs and stuff in the background.
They're funny.
Because some of the stuff is just absurd. Sometimes some of the stuff has nothing to do with what's even going on here. Of course, every page I've picked has no background stuff. You stop and read the back signs, and it's just dumb, funny stuff. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, that's a fun book. It took me a while to read it. Every sign or anything that's in the background, I have to look at. Yep. And it's not bad. No, I can't say it's bad. I just don't care for it anymore.
That kills me.
Yeah, I'm just kind of done. I'm kind of done with Saga. But I mean,
art's tremendous.
No, the art. I mean,
that should be the first thing you're talking about. But the art is tremendous. Miss Staples does a wonderful job, and I'm still very vested in the story. Very vested in the story.
I like this guy.
Yeah.
This is going to be a great ride. I think you're going to enjoy this book a lot.
I've been putting it off for a while. I've only heard good things about it.
Yeah. I think it's getting to the end. I think it's getting close to the end.
Still coming out in single issues, right?
Yes, but I think it's near the end.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I think there's 4 trades out now. I mean, I can't see it going much further than that. How about $43?